Greetings, and welcome to OroCommerce's video tutorial series. This is Rhonda with Oro Inc., and today I'll be demonstrating how to configure guest checkout options within OroCommerce. OroCommerce supports guest checkout. A guest is someone who visits your web store but does not log in with an account. Typically, many online stores require a guest to register before completing their purchase. This may require the guest to fill out a lot of information, which could be discouraging if the process is too complicated. Now, with guest checkout, buyers can proceed through checkout at your online store as an unregistered guest and use options such as the quick order form, submit requests for quote, and use a shopping list based on your chosen site's configuration. Guests are no longer required to create an account before purchasing. Guest checkout may boost conversion rates, which is the percentage of shoppers who complete a purchase. At times, when the sign-up process is too complicated or lengthy, it may prevent a customer from purchasing items already in their cart and lead to cart abandonment. When guest checkout is coupled with single-page checkout, the process to complete a purchase is even faster and easier, as all the information to complete and submit the order are all on one single page. For more information on using single-page checkout, please see our related video in the media library. Guests are also able to log in if they've forgotten to do so before placing items on their shopping list, or they can create an account by registering during order review using only their email address and password. This leads to more registered users without interrupting the order checkout flow. Additionally, this option is configurable, and guest registration can be disabled if desired. In this tutorial, we'll demonstrate how to enable options for guests, including checkout, guest registration, requests for quotes, quick order forms, and a shopping list. We'll show you how to configure these options globally for all organizations, for a specific organization, or for a specific website. The first step is to ensure that guests have website access. When guest website access is turned off, only registered and signed-in customers are able to access the website. This means guests cannot view the website or products. New users may still register as long as self-registration is enabled. To enable or disable guest website access globally throughout all websites and organizations, navigate to the main system menu and use the drop-down to select Configuration. Expand Commerce, expand Guests, and click on Website Access. By default, website access is enabled. To change this setting, uncheck the Use Default checkbox to open the field for editing. Once you've set your guest website access level, click the Save Settings button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now we'll return to the storefront and reload the page. As you can see, our guest now has access to the website. Guests can check out categories and products and view product details. As you can see, there's no options yet to add items to a shopping list or to check out. Now we'll demonstrate how to configure guest checkout. Guest checkout ultimately allows guests to proceed through checkout unauthenticated. The results of this option are not yet visible until you've enabled a way for guests to add items to a shopping list. To enable or disable guest checkout, expand Sales, and click on Checkout. As you can see, guest checkout is disabled by default. To change this setting, uncheck the Use Default checkbox to open the field for editing. Click the checkbox to enable guest checkout, and click Save Settings. Once guest checkout is configured, a drop-down displays for the guest checkout owner field. By default, this is the user who's setting up the configuration, but you can change it to another user if necessary. Additionally, you can allow guests the option to register at checkout or continue as a guest, meaning that the buyer is not required to submit their email for an order. Allow checkout without email confirmation is disabled by default, but you can change this setting by unchecking the Use Default checkbox to open the field for editing, and then click the checkbox to allow checkout without email confirmation. When you're finished, click the Save Settings button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now we'll demonstrate how to configure the rest of the guest options. To quickly find these options, enter the word guest into the configuration search bar. This displays all the options that can be configured for guest checkout. As you can see, there are additional guest checkout options for quick order form, request for quote, contacts, and shopping list. Click on Quick Order Form. Sellers can allow guests to use the quick order form. By default, this option is disabled. Before enabling the quick order form, you must have at least one guest option enabled, either guest checkout, RFQ, or shopping list. The guest quick order form is disabled by default. To change this setting, uncheck the Use Default checkbox to open the field for editing, and check the checkbox to enable the guest quick order form. When you're finished, click the Save Settings button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Click on Request for Quote. Guest Request for Quote allows guest users to create a request for quote from the seller. This option is disabled by default. To enable this option, uncheck the Use Default checkbox to open the field for editing, and then click the checkbox to enable Guest RFQ. When you're finished, click the Save Settings button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Click on Shopping List. Guests can use a single shopping list when this option is enabled. Guest Shopping List is disabled by default, but you can change this setting by unchecking the Use Default checkbox to open the field for editing, and click the checkbox to enable Guest Shopping List. When you're finished, click the Save Settings button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Finally, click on Contacts. Here you can enter sales contact information for any unauthenticated visitors. This information is displayed in the lower right-hand corner of the footer. This is disabled by default. To enable guest contact information, uncheck the Use Default checkbox to open the field for editing, and enter your contact information. When you're finished, click the Save Settings button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now we'll return to the storefront and reload the page. As you can see, guests now have access to the quick order form and the shopping list, and also have additional options to add items to the shopping list, create orders, and get quotes. Now we'll scroll down to the footer so you can see the guest contact information. Now we'll demonstrate how to enable these options per organization and per website. To enable guest options for an organization, navigate to the main system menu and use the drop-down to select User Management and then Organizations. Click on any organization to load the Details page. Click the Configuration button and enable the options as previously demonstrated. Any changes to configuration settings will happen for this organization only. To enable guest options per website, navigate to the main system menu and use the drop-down to select Websites. Click on any website to load the Details page, and click on the Configuration button. Configure the options as previously demonstrated. Any changes you make will happen to the selected website only. Thanks for watching. For more video tutorials, please check out our website at www.orocommerce.com/media-library and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with our latest video tutorials and webinars.